Um, as I wait for others to join in, if you have any questions, please do leave a comment. Hi, everyone. So I'm just gonna keep it short and brief, and then you can ask me questions and then I'll answer it for you, make it a bit interactive. But today we are going to be talking about why finding yourself is essential to finding faith. Last week भी हमने basically रूट कॉज पे बात की थी कि why is it that society is able to feed their opinions to us and why we end up believing them. In a gist, what I said was कि क्योंकि हमारे कोई वो foundational beliefs नहीं हैं, हमारे foundational four corners नहीं हैं, हमारे अंदर एक void है जिसको फिर society fill करती है. Someone will fill up that void and you're going to decide. That's your free will that God has given you. You will decide who's going to fill it up. Is it going to be you or is it going to be the society or someone else? Okay? So today I want to talk about empowering yourself and finding yourself. And I know जहाँ पे अभी हम ज़्यादातर औरतें हैं, especially women who are in their 20s and 30s and even 40s, we are in a place where we are feeling lost. Where we are feeling like disconnected from everyone around us. Hello, Almas. So we are at a place as women where we are feeling disconnected from ourselves, from our inner selves, from our souls, from everyone around us, and the most important, from our faith. हम बहुत एक बड़ा disconnect है जिसको हम figure out नहीं कर पा रहे कि कैसे उसको solve किया जाए, which is surprising because that should be the main. Assalamu alaikum. That should be the main topic that everyone should be discussing. How not to feel distant, how not to feel lost. क्योंकि हमारी society में एक तो the feeling of being lost को बहुत बुरे तरीके से भी देखा जाता है, right? So last week भी जो हमारे लाइफ में क्वेश्चन पूछा था फातिमा ने, it was about how to choose faith over fear, ठीक है? And that's the thing. हमारा disconnect इतना deep है. Everyone knows कि we should choose faith. That faith comes first. Yet this question, everyone is asking this question. And that is coming from a place of disconnect. क्योंकि जहाँ पे disconnect होगा वहाँ पे डर बहुत होगा. वहाँ पे you won't have the answers, you won't have the logic, you won't know what to do. And so जहाँ पे disconnect है वहाँ पे fear बहुत है. And even though we know कि सबसे like it's a no-brainer, we have to pick faith. ठीक है? It's a very no-brainer type question. Yet we feel that jhijak. Why? Because of that disconnect, of feeling lost, of not knowing who we are. And again, those foundational four corners are very important. अपनी basic, अपनी एक पूरी base बनाना जहाँ पे आपकी foundation बहुत strong हो, ठीक है? Now, I know पाकिस्तान में आपको वो privilege नहीं है to be able to feel lost. क्योंकि we are expected to have answers all the time. We are expected to know all our opinions. We are expected to please everyone by our arguments and our debates and manazare jo hote hain. And even school mein, debating is such a field. It's like, oh, let's go debating. We are not here to listen to another person. We're just here to get our point across. And स्कूल सिस्टम में ये आपको सिखाया जाता है कि यू कैन नॉट फील लॉस्ट, यू कैन नॉट हैव आंसर्स, इट्स नॉट एक्सेप्टेबल. सो वी डोंट शो ग्रेस. बट फॉर मी, जहाँ पे अगर मैं खुद देखूँ अपनी स्टोरी में जाके, द लास्ट 7-8 years have not been easy. I have had my challenges and those were the years where I felt so lost. And it wasn't a small period, right? 7-8 years is a very, very big, long time. But I took it as an opportunity, like as an invitation from God to find myself and hence find faith. And I think this is how we should approach feeling lost as well. We should approach it with the mindset ke it's an opportunity, it's an invitation from God to go out, seek knowledge, explore, find the divine will, find your own identity through exploration. Hi, everyone who's joining now. So I was saying कि it's okay to feel lost. Don't feel bad about it. It's an invitation from God to find yourself and your faith. And how do we find ourselves? उसको हमने last live में cover किया था. But to say it in a gist, you have to consciously make an effort to find yourself by fighting through the noise, going out, exploring the world, despite not having any answers, and in the process, use your prayers and dua to seek help from God. And यहाँ पे I think हम बहुत यूजली गलती कर जाते हैं. वी विल बी लाइक ओ हमने नमाज को टिक कर देना है, हमने रोज़ों को टिक कर देना है, और अपना जो रिजॉल्व है खुद से आ जाएगा, अपनी स्ट्रेंथ खुद से आ जाएगी, खुद से ही हमारी आइडेंटिटी एकदम से बाहर निकलेगी एंड वील हैव ऑल द आंसर्स. एंड दैट्स नॉट हाउ यू सपोज टू यूज रिचुअल्स इन इस्लाम. यू सपोज टू फर्स्ट पुट इन एक्शन whatever you want to, जो भी लाइफ में करना है. इट कम्स फ्रॉम एक्शन. आपने बाहर निकलना है, आपने मेहनत करनी है, आपने स्ट्रगल करनी है, एंड आफ्टर दैट वंस you've taken action, you use your rituals and your duas to strengthen that resolve, to make that commitment regular के मैं हर रोज़ आके लड़ूंगी या लड़ूंगा, because that is what God wants from me. Before we go on to why finding yourself is essential to your faith, I was reading this book and I really want to share what I read in this. It's The Search for Beauty in Islam by Khalid Abu Al-Fadl. It's an amazing book. It takes time to get used to it, but it is an amazing book. ठीक है? तो I was generally talking about society, but ये जो lines हैं, this is essentially talking to the parents. But even for him, he says कि searching for your identity, it is through exploration of yourself, through exploration of the world, and through that finding the divine will, how you interpret it. आपके अपने synaptic connections जब बनते हैं, how you put together that picture, that image of God and his will and his plan on this earth. ठीक है? But I'll read it to you. If the home environment denies sons and daughters the power to set their own boundaries and assert their own identities according to their own understanding of the divine will, nothing remains of dignity. If parents do not affirm their children's right to be liberated by the search for the divine will, then these children will learn to succumb to human whim, whether it's their own whim or the whim of others. And that is essentially what I've been saying as well, that if you don't find yourself, you will cave in to someone's whim. ठीक है, आपकी शैतान वाली वसवसे भी हो सकते हैं, या सोसाइटी की बातें भी हो सकती हैं. So that's where you have to make a conscious effort. ठीक है? So if you have any questions, do put them in the comments and I can get back to you at the end of the live session. And if there's an interesting question, I can make the newsletter for it, like my newsletter that comes out tomorrow, it can be around that topic. So do let me know your questions. Okay? I'm always here to have an interactive session and help you out with any questions that you have. Abhi time kya ho gaya? Okay, I started a bit late. It's already 10 minutes in, but I'm almost winding up. Okay, so the whys of why is it important to find your faith through self-empowerment. Okay? Your soul is connected to your fitra. Okay? Allah created us with an innate sense of right and wrong, a pure state, our fitra. When we lose touch with ourselves, we also lose that connection to the natural goodness and guidance within us. Reawakening our soul through lived experiences, through daily questioning, helps us reconnect with that innate sense. बहुत बेसिक बातें होती हैं कि ये सही है, गलत है, करना है, नहीं करना. वी नो ऑल दोस, येट वी फाइंड इट सो हार्ड टू एग्जीक्यूट. लाइक चुगली नहीं करनी, झूठ नहीं बोलना. बट वी फाइंड इट सो हार्ड टू कनेक्ट विद दैट ट्रू self because we do that. We do a lot of chuglis. We gossip a lot. We lie a lot. हम लोगों को cheat बहुत करते हैं. And when you find yourself, you find that resolve to do the right thing as well. Okay? The second one, when you don't know who you are, you let others decide for you. So that is the most important one. Like I mentioned it before, एक आपके अंदर void रहेगा जो कहीं से fill होगा, and most likely it will be the society that will be filling up that void for you. The third one, your real story is tied to your authentic self. Now there are multiple stories, multiple outcomes that your life can have. ठीक है, इसको बहुत different तरीके से लिखा जा सकता है depending on how you choose to live it. If you let others decide things for you, then you will live a life story that is written by others. However, if you decide to write your own life story, you will live a life that is your own plan, which is God's plan. हर इंसान को अल्लाह ताला ने different बनाया है, हर की story different बनाई है, and you can only tap into it once you live it on your own terms, on your own understanding, with honesty and goodness inside your heart, definitely. But you cannot unlock your potential, your authentic self, your authentic story, unless you find your real self. And then the last one, self-awareness deepens your relationship with Allah. I think a lot of us have experienced it. We have seen people around us who are very religious, yet they do not have a relationship with God because they're doing all kinds of wrongs in the society. They are झूठ सबसे ज़्यादा वो बोलेंगे, एक दूसरे की चुगली सबसे ज़्यादा वो करेंगे, अपने बेटियों के घर तोड़ रहे होंगे, अपने बेटों के घर तोड़ रहे होंगे. And so self-awareness is your only path to your connection to God. If you don't have that, I don't think you can have a relationship with God. When we know ourselves, our weaknesses, strengths, fears, and dreams, and when we start discovering the actual power God has placed inside of us through our potential, we approach Allah with more sincerity and humility. This vulnerability deepens our dua, strengthens our faith, and brings us closer to Him. So yes, not just recognizing what you're good at. You have to recognize that all humans have the ability to do evil, to do sins. And once that recognition, I think, is the most important, because हम झूठ तो बोल देते हैं, but we're like, हम कोई ना कोई बहाना उसके लिए बना लेंगे कि ओ नहीं, सिचुएशन ये थी, उसने वो किया था, तो मैंने ये कर दिया. We won't accept our weakness. We'll make an excuse for it. We will justify it somehow. And I think realizing your weakness is very important, and then not justifying it. That is the process of, that is what you'll find through the process of self-discovery and connecting with yourself. Not just your strengths, but your weaknesses, of where you can slip. And then that will make you more humble and more sincere in front of God. Okay? So that is the session for today. I know it's hard as a Pakistani aurat. Hi everyone. I know it is very hard as a Pakistani aurat to go on that journey, क्योंकि आपको पूरी society से लड़ना पड़ता है. But you need to realize that as long as you have God next to you, as long as you put your faith and fear, all of them in God, society can't do anything. It can't even put a scratch on you. And that's where we need to reprioritize our, क्या कहेंगे, our sources, the people we depend on. And so it is very important to go on that journey, because if it's now or never, and especially for women who are, I'm talking to women who are in their 30s and in their 40s, sometimes even in their late 20s, and you are mothers. Most of you are mothers or going to become one, okay? And we have kids, and we can't leave them with weak mothers, because we're just going to screw up their life as well. हमने जो trauma अपनी life में देखा है, we'll be passing it on to our kids as well. So please go on that journey despite it being so hard. I know it is hard. I spent 7-8 years. It's not easy, but it becomes easy day by day the more you put your faith in God. And I just realized I have this on my hand through the entire live session. Sorry, my daughter put it here. What is it? Black Panther. Anyways, so I'm always available in my inbox if you want to have a chat, if you want a little bit of a push, or a bit of क्या कहेंगे, हाँ, push ही कहेंगे, a bit of a push. Let me know. I'm always here to talk. Also, my newsletter is coming out tomorrow. If you would like to subscribe to it, it's a weekly newsletter that comes out on Thursday. Wednesdays को मेरे live session होते हैं, and Thursday को newsletter. If you would like to subscribe, do let me know your email in the inbox, and I will send it out tomorrow. I'll just wait 5 minutes if you have any questions that you want to put through. Otherwise, I think we're good to go for today. And everyone who joined, thank you so much for coming in and taking out that time. I will be putting this live session up on YouTube for you to go back and see in your own time. I did the first one as well, the first live session that happened last week. If you haven't seen it, you can go see it through the link in my bio, but I'll be updating it soon. So that link will change to this live session, the second one. And so you can see it in your own time. And then if you have any questions, you can come back to me. Any questions? Last call. Okay. Currently on the road to self-discovery, you're absolutely right. It's very difficult when you don't have a conducive environment around. One thing I'll tell you, Hamna, from my own experience, आपको लगता है कि आपको लोग चाहिए around you to go to find yourself. Turns out, like मुझे 7-8 साल बाद समझ आई, turns out you don't need anyone. You don't need a single soul around you to find yourself. You just need God. Honestly, इंसान बहुत imperfect है, हम भी imperfect हैं, चाहे जितना मर्जी हम अपने आप को ढूंढ लें, हम imperfect रहेंगे. And so we will always have some kind of a hold back on the other person. Even if you're trying to support them, हम कुछ ना कुछ अपने fears उसके ऊपर डाल देंगे, या अपनी कोई boundaries उसके ऊपर डाल देंगे. And so you cannot grow fully if you keep depending on people. So have that trust. I know baby steps will take me there, and faith is definitely the most powerful. Currently, I started off with praying tahajjud, and that's helping. With that, I would honestly tell you to pair some kind of an action in your life, because prayer without any action, you might feel that good rush in the short term, but in the long term it won't add up to anything. So have something, some kind of an action that you're taking. Maybe it's a hobby you're learning, or doing something, going out in the world, getting a job that people are telling you not to get, pair it with a challenge, and that's when you'll see the real growth. That's where you will see the magic happen. So that's my advice to you. And the first thing that I was saying, don't rely on people, just rely on God. People, society don't matter in the end. क्योंकि लोगों का काम है आपकी टांगें खींचना, and that's fine. So it was really nice coming online. I'll be live again next Wednesday, and always supporting those who are looking up to me, and I cannot let you all down, matlab. So I'll see you guys next week, and thank you for joining. Bye.